Welcome everyone, and welcome to you all. And it's great to speak to you and see you all again. And we are here for Slayer Talk, talking about episode 3 and 4. One is, I'd say, a personal favorite of probably most of us, and the other is a little bit different. But there are definitely pluses in many parts of School Hard for me, and I got a lot from Inca Mummy Girl. There's it's a little bit generic, but I enjoy mythical ancient beasts and monsters. So I kind of, and with the place I was in, kind of mentally the last couple of days, it kind of, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice distraction. So what did you all make of both the episodes, kind of generally?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, I just enjoyed both immensely for different reasons, but it was a fun set.
Yeah, I really School Hard is of course is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But I remember Inca Mummy Girl very well, and it was actually better than I remembered it because it's been so long since I've seen it. And I thought it would be cheesier than it was, and it was actually, I liked it quite a bit. So
What did you think, Jess?
Yeah, it was good. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed watching them. I'm kind of like looking, and I find I took a lot less notes and stuff than the previous episodes, but I still enjoyed watching them. I was like,
yeah.
I guess because there was like not as many like zingy one-liners or like as much, but like in general, like as episodes, I enjoyed watching them. But yeah, I just like, is something wrong? How come I'm not right?
That's so funny. Everything you say, I ditto. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Jess, can you sum up School Hard, which is episode 3 of season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah, so School Hard aired September 29th, 1997. It was written by David Greenwalt and Joss Whedon. David Greenwalt also wrote Teacher's Pet, Angel, and Nightmares. So those are his previous. And also the director, John Kretschmer, who directed The Harvest before this one. So Buffy is in a competition with Sheila, according to Principal Snyder, for the worst student at Sunnydale. And he basically puts them both in charge of parent-teacher night, and whoever does the worst job will possibly get expelled. So Buffy has to contend with planning parent-teacher night, keeping her mother away from Principal Snyder, and also deal with the upcoming Night of St. Vigus, a vampire holiday.
I think I'll talk about the intro a little bit later, but the opening scene with the principal and the two girls in the office, I think it's either the actors really enjoying the dialogue or they enjoy writing for him, or a combination of everything, because it's just a beautifully crafted scene with the three of them, and he's really enjoying every moment of it. Because just tearing them a new one, but in his unique way. He's almost like in his own world, isn't he?
Yeah. He just loves being mean, and that's all I got. Yeah, so I was gonna go deep, but
no. That scene was so brilliant. From the obvious teenage attitude of Sheila, which
with the gum,
I hate to say was so well done. Yep. Was so perfect. Like, I remember either myself or other people having that exact attitude and body language. And Buffy, who clearly is trying, and we know she is from what we've seen before, almost like she's caught off guard and having to defend everything. It was so funny. And there's such great dialogue in that too.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love how the thing that struck me first was that Buffy, who's like really dealing with dark evil things, as we know, and Sheila, who's like just kind of superficially badass, thinks she's really badass, but it's kind of ironic. Yeah.
Now that I'm rethinking the scene, I don't know, I didn't think much of it at the time. I was just kind of, I was like, oh, it's Principal Snyder, what funny thing is he gonna say? But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that, like, she goes up against these like forces of darkness, but she is just terrified of also like, I don't want to flunk out of school. I don't want to disappoint my mom, which is such a weird thing. It's a good like showing you that she really is still a teenager, and these things still like scare her. Oh my God, flunking or being expelled from school again. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Also, but it wasn't her who burnt down the school. It was smoking mice. So it was okay.
Mice who were smoking.
That's right.
Be a good band name. Damn it.
Smoking mice. Huh?
You can see these little, like, well, I've got the ears.
You can see it on the tour t-shirts.
Yeah.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the first? I might be completely wrong, but is this the first time we've heard Giles doing the intro?
I
The voice.
think last couple episodes he did it too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he did it previously as well.
I really enjoy him. It makes so much more sense in terms of
Than the weird voiceover artist doing it.
yeah. The generic one, yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy that he kind of ties it
Generation, there is a Slayer. That guy.
Yeah,
infomercial guy, yeah.
yeah, it makes it a lot cheesier, I guess. Although speaking of cheese, I couldn't remember the password to get into my Amazon Prime, so then I had to go into the basement and find my DVDs and watch on the DVD player, and like the whole like CG intro to get in was like, I was like, whoa.
It's not the worst. I think I can't remember what season it is. It's either 3 or 4. Has the longest cuts in between for the DVD menus. It takes almost 2 or 3 minutes to even get into watch an episode. It's so badly done.
We'll have
in between episodes. It has this big zoom out thing and zoom in, and so dumb.
We'll have to record it for you, Alex. And it's like
please do,
like
yeah.
CG walk through a graveyard, and then you like go into like a crypt to like open, and then when you click an episode, it like focuses in on like a stained glass window, and it's like.
I used to love all that as an additional experience. Not quite to that level, but one of the versions of Die Hard trilogy came out, and it was the helicopters going through the buildings of the first film, and it was on for fucking ages. It was on for ages. I'm like, and like the Terminator 2, there's some sort of special edition of that, and it was like the process of one of the T-800s getting made. I'm like, just give me the film. Give me the film. For God's sake,
it's cool every once in a while, but you don't want to see it every single time.
No, exactly. And I told you all about that menu thing from season 1 of 24 when I left the menu on, and it was, you know how there's a video like an action scene, and it's got like scene 1 and play and all that at the bottom. It plays through a loop. Yeah. Well, the video and the audio must have been on for 5 to 10 minutes. Like before it loops back.
Oh wow!
And I went to the loo. I was watching it really late. This was like 2-3 in the morning, something like that. And I go to use the loo. I'm really tired. Walk back to the room, and all I hear is Jack. I'm like, it's the menu of the DVD. And it was one of the characters. It's actually the actor that shot Brandon Lee in The Crow that killed him. And it was the actor that would play the baddie in the first season of 24. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it was just a menu. And it was just, I looked online. It was just one huge loop, like 10 minutes of audio.
Oh, wow.
Some music artists do that where they put a track on and it's like 10 minutes and it's like nothing until like the last minute.
Yeah.
Like over here, Robbie Williams has done that a couple of times with his album. But yeah, the DVD menu. Yeah, please record that. I'd like to see that.
I have to stop myself now too because I forgot. Like, there's no special features or anything. So I'm just like, maybe I have to buy like the new DVDs just to see what I conclude now.
Yeah, there are, but they randomly. I don't know how they do it. I think they basically, because they didn't record anything specifically for bonus features for DVDs when it aired. But every once in a while, I think when they had something for an episode, they included on the DVD. So there are, at least in season 1, there were a few things like interviews and stuff back and forth. But and I'm sure there are in this one as well. But yeah, it's not consistent. So.
Yeah, because I see stuff on the wiki too. They're like mentioned in this bonus feature, and I was like, I don't have any bonus features.
I bought my I chose my wedding ring based on a bonus feature from The Abyss.
Oh my God. I've never heard that sentence uttered by anybody.
No, you won't ever again. But I found the company based on the commentary about Bud's ring. Ed Harris wears this ring. I'm like, it looks amazing. It's this huge. It's this piece of titanium.
Oh, the one that saves them.
Yeah. And on the commentary, it talks about this Canadian company that made it, and it's made out of this aircraft titanium. And I just found the company. They still make them. And I ordered one, got it.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
It made Vicky really happy because it was really cheap.
Oh, nice. Oh,
But yeah,
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
yeah. So yeah, it was fun getting that, and they were great.
Great.
And I had a nice little inscription on the inside. But yeah, just taking it back to this episode, Spike's introduction.
Oh,
it was so kick-ass. Was he driving like the car from Christine or something? Because he goes through the sign. It's like the car destroying the sign, the kick-ass kind of long jacket, and it was he smoking? I'm not sure if he was smoking or something, but it was.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was.
I think first time we've seen a vampire, because when he gets out of the car, he's full vampire face, and I think he is smoking, and I think it's the only time we've seen that.
Yeah. What an intro for what a great character. I love.
One of the best characters, and and it's really interesting to see it from my point of view, listening to his accent. And
I was going to ask you.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
I wanted to ask. I'm like, how does it sound to you?
Yeah, how does it sound to you?
He sounds like he's from a Guy Ritchie movie. But it's not bad though, because it's all part of the character and the charm. It's not the best, but it's okay. Drew Sillers is my favorite though. I thought her accent.
Incredible.
I'm going to eat something now. Whatever it is, or whatever the line is.
The Miss was what is it? Miss Edith speaks out of turn and shall have no cakes today.
yes, I love that character. Her character as well.
Just to kind of talk about her a little bit. Is their connection, their backstory, described in this? I take it it's kind of padded out and you see more of that later in the show, right?
Yeah.
You do. I can't remember. Do they get into it as much in Buffy, or is it in Angel? I kind of have blended the two.
It's all in Buffy that you get their backstory. You're gonna get Angels. You'll get Spikes later on after Angel's gone.
Great episode on that one.
Because they kind of flub this, though I don't want to spoil anything, because he calls Angelus his sire, which is not what they talk about later. Yeah. This is not the case. So
yeah, but what a great Drusilla. She's such a great actress. Well, there's so many good actors too in this. There's such a delicious power couple. Like weak in certain ways, strong in others. Like she's feeble and scared of things, and yet she's really evil and nasty, and same with him. It's like they're so tender to each other, but so nasty to whoever they don't like.
Yeah.
It's so.
I was gonna say, for some character that was not meant to be a mainstay character, he certainly had. Both of them had such an incredibly fleshed out role, like right when they walk in, and I don't know that they've had any character like that. So
yeah, they owned it. Yeah. It kind of. In many ways, it kind of put almost all the characters in to shame, because you've got someone that's really knocking it out of the park. With the both of them were really impressed. I was really impressed, and obviously the vampires are already there, and we see what happens to the Anointed One and all that.
Yeah, thank God.
It really kind of I'm gonna shine as James Masters, isn't it, as the actor?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, this is my moment. I'm gonna shine right now," because I don't remember him before Buffy. So I was so impressed with just the two of them. I'm like, yeah, I was backing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
You really need that, because like from the season 1, they established the Master like that, and he's such a charismatic, like funny, scary character. And then this, we've gone like 2 episodes with really kind of like nothing, no big bad, no kind of central person to like look at. So I think it was because the Anointed One doesn't scare anybody, right?
No, well, he's actually annoying.
Yeah, I was making this point as well. I was kind of glad that they did what they did to the Anointed One, but I was also disappointed that they had such a big buildup to somebody who was supposed to be part of prophecy in the vampire prophecy, and they did literally nothing with him. Like, actually nothing.
I looked up why that happened. I don't know why they didn't like think this ahead. But he had a huge growth spurt over the summer. And so if you notice, every shot, I like they said that every shot of him in this season, he's sitting down. And the reason is because if he stood up, you would see how big he got.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So that's why he was sitting the entire like season. And that's why they had to get rid of him, because he grew really fast, which is like, didn't like I always wondered that was Lost. I don't know if anyone watched Lost. Michael and his son, and I was like, guys, like, did you not? And children grow, like that happens. Why did you not think that through?
That's going to be a thing with Stranger Things, big time, isn't it?
But at least time progresses in Stranger Things.
That's right. It's supposed to be they every season of that they have being specifically a different year. So it sort of makes sense, except the duration between releases doesn't make sense.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I'm so angry about that.
But yeah, I was kind of glad that they let Spike take over. But I do wonder at what point in the writing, because you hear interviews now where James Marsters says he was not meant to be the character he was, and just from the strength of his acting and fans talking about it, I guess, just created that, which was amazing. So
so he was supposed to be short-lived.
Yeah,
this season I think was supposed to be the only season he was in. So it's interesting to me too, because so much of my like familiarity is the later seasons. So you see him and he's supposed to be this like badass character, and all I can think of him is on the scooter with Dawn behind him in the studio.
Oh, I remember. Oh my God. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh right, he was like a serious bad guy before. You kind of forget, like it's kind of like funny.
What I thought. Exactly what I thought.
But he's a great serious bad guy. I mean,
yeah, he is.
It's one of the first times you see a vampire almost enjoying the fact that they're a vampire. And like, they're not supposed to have souls and stuff, but this is literally a character that's actually embraced that whole culture of it. And it seems like before, a lot of the vampires, and maybe they were trying to get away from this, were stuck in this, worship the master, follow their own prophecies and lore, and have this whole it's like their like cultish idea. They all kind of flow around this, and he walks in just as he says, to have fun, and it's such actually kind of a breath of fresh air for the show.
Yeah.
And he's surprising. Like by the end of we'll get there, but it's he catches us off guard, which is unusual too.
Yeah,
and I like kind of that they were making kind of a point. I felt like maybe this is an intentional point of like, okay, we've done the vampire lore and like ancient blah 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 prophecy. Like, let's have something new. And that's basically what he's like. He's like, screw traditions, screw your. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
When they end up, I don't know how they always end up at the bronze. As you all said to me in the first episode, all Smudge and David did. Yeah, they always end up at the bronze. Oh, right, okay, because my memory is very sketchy of the show. So, when they end up in the bronze, the dancing is absolutely atrocious.
You don't like Buffy's one dance move?
No, it's not Buffy. There's a guy on. As you watch the show, Xander's dancing is so bad.
Yeah.
But there's a guy. It's really specific shot, and I know this is really the guy, the red jumper,
crouching and doing like
it's.
I never noticed that.
He's in this red jumper, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this guy? There's a guy in the in Tech Noir in Terminator, and a friend of mine does the same dance because we have this weird thing. We love Terminator. And he's just dancing. He's doing this whole thing the whole time. I don't know what it is. I know they do it on purpose in this show. But yeah, another thing about. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say they have to maintain it, I'm assuming, for like really long time to do these shots.
Yeah.
So I imagine you probably don't want to be too vigorous because it's like, all right, 3 hours of this while we get our shots done. Like
Pick a dance move that you know you can do for hours on end.
Exactly.
Stick with it.
Yeah, mine's lean against the bar. That's mine. That's so true, Jess. That's a really great point. That's probably why it gets down to the last take. Oh, this is the one we used, and the guy's exhausted. But yeah, I love how they've taken their homework to the club.
I know.
It's under that spotlight on the table. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, like who would do that?
I'm still really confused about the bronze right from the beginning, because they talk about, in certain episodes, they talk about drinking, but clearly it's I guess it's an all ages club because there's tons of high school students there all the time. But they never mention anybody, getting drunk or anything like that. So it's a very strange club.
Yeah.
I think maybe they can't serve alcohol if it's all ages. Maybe that's what it is. I think they're not allowed to serve it at all.
Yeah.
You won't see me there.
That's why.
Well, I mean, I used to go to clubs when I was a teenager and a little bit, and you just, like, if you show your ID if you want to drink, and you get a hand stamp if you were drinking, and if you're not, you just wouldn't get served because you didn't have it on. But they didn't care whether you were underage or not. So
I don't know. Americans are so
Yeah.
Like anti. They always seem to serve coffee at the Bronze. That seems to be always what they get, right? They get like some kind of coffee beverage.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I don't know.
I think Willow has a variety of beverages she gets there.
Yeah. I guess that's why bad girls like Sheila go to the fish trap. Was that what it was called?
Oh, that's so great.
That is great.
That was really great. I love how. Oh, sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Thanks. There's, in terms of character and twists, there's a lot of juicy characters in this, as we already said, but also like Angel, it's tough for the first time in.
I was saying,
we think, right?
First time he's acted like Angelus. I think this is the first time he actually put on the bad guy act, which was really cool. Actually.
And then another juicy thing, and I'm throwing it into, is like Angel and Xander, the sort of friendship or helping each other. There's some like kind of. Anyway,
he believes him right away that he's like, I knew you were faking it, you jerk. Yeah. He so desperately wants him to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Let it go, man. Let it go. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that from Angel.
I love it.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah.
And I love Spike's reaction. That's what I meant earlier, was the surprise. He surprised me as an audience member. Spike did. When he didn't buy it. I was shocked. I forgot.
Yeah.
Spike's makeup for any of the vampires is clearly my favorite. I know a very similar design, but it must be the way he wears it as well. I think it just kind of really does rock it. And something that is kind of obvious throughout all of Buffy is there's so many dumb vampires.
Yeah.
There's like all red shirts from Star Trek or something.
I had to wonder that because like he finds her instantly at the Bronze. He knows exactly what she looks like and what he's looking for, which I didn't really understand how he knows where to find her. Yep. And yet like Buffy goes out because he baits her with that vampire, and then that vampire, does he know who she is right away, or he still doesn't get it? I can't remember.
He
says her name, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the one near the beginning saying that he was going to kill her before Spike shows up.
Right.
He's the one at the crucifixion. Is that right?
Right. Spike says that he'll do it, and they'll see who has the biggest wrinklies.
Right. Yeah.
Which I thought was a great line.
But
that's something I'd say in general public.
But there seems to be so many vampires that have no clue. They're like, "Who are you, lady? Why are you like?"
Yeah.
And yet Spike just like waltzes in. He's like, "That's her. I found her." Like,
Yeah.
So is her identity a secret or it's well known? I'm not really clear on how he knew where to find her, unless I guess
you just reminded me about something. You know when Spike says use your head and then he smashes the thing to get the axe, the glass to get the axe. I thought he was going to use the vampire's head to get through the door.
So did I.
Yeah, I was like, come on. Oh, okay, right. You've done that. And then he gives him the axe. I'm like, no, just use his head to get through the door.
I thought that was going to happen as well.
Did you see what was in Buffy's bag in the club when there's three things in the bag?
The yo-yo.
There's a yo-yo, then there's a tampon, and then there's a steak. It's just Xander was the perfect person to pick all three.
Apparently, she had the yo-yo in either the previous episode or the episode before, but I don't remember. Really? Was there a shot where she was using a yo-yo?
Remember
that rings a bell, but I don't know
because in the wiki they were like, this is the same yo-yo you see her playing with in a previous episode.
Wow.
And I was like, she had a yo-yo. I don't remember her playing with a yo-yo.
Like, so this is obvious probably, but it's like so deliciously scary where he says, you know, in the alleyway, I'm going to kill you. And he doesn't, there's no actual physical violence, but just that threat and that confidence, you know, it's kind of, it's cool.
Yeah. I'm a little confused about that as well, though. It seems that this happens a few times in this episode in particular. There are some very weird cuts where, you know, somebody threatens Buffy and then they just cut to them being somewhere else, and I'm going like, why would she just let him walk away? Like, they know he's a vampire. He's threatened to kill her, you know, in a couple days, and she's standing right in front of him. Like, there's no pursuit at all, and he kind of just turns and leaves. Like, I thought they'd do some sort of, like, you know, he faded into the darkness and disappeared like Batman, but he doesn't even do that.
He just did his David Caruso. Did his David Caruso and stepped off frame, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That was, it's a really good point. It's just like, you know, you need to justify that to a certain degree, that kind of walking off.
I guess she's probably more cautious now, right? Because she did, at that point, I don't know if they found who he was, so she didn't know what she was up against.
Yeah, but that's true. But there wasn't any reason for her to be cautious because she gets threatened to, you know, death from every vampire that walks up. So another one doing it doesn't really seem out of character. The thing that was out of character was that he didn't attack her, which I guess made her more cautious. But I don't know. If I was a Slayer and another vampire popped up, I'd probably just try to get rid of them.
Yeah. The parent teacher event that the two girls, Buffy and I can't remember the other character's name, but were organizing. They have was it that, or was it in the library, the worst snack board I've ever seen?
I think
it had like dried fruit and cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower. I'm like, what?
Right.
So my point is every time they show the school outside, there's a plethora of students walking in and out. It seems like the hallways are always packed with students, and the only thing Buffy and Sheila have made for the parents of the entire school is one bowl of like fruits and vegetable dips, and they were the only ones doing it. I'm going, that's got to be hundreds of parents. What the hell are they thinking?
And since when do they let students prepare food in general?
At all?
Yeah. One thing we talked about was that was definitely weird. With Snyder, this is the first time, and you said it, so I'm stealing your idea. That Snyder knows something. The police, remember how?
I've got a note about that. Yeah.
PCP and gangs or whatever.
Yeah, that's the chief of police. Apparently, I looked it up.
Yeah, until the cops know, and that
was it the chief of police? Was it?
That's when he's like the
story. All along, maybe the cops have known that can explain.
That's quite an interesting, because they've kind of made it really clear now that the police are involved.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. The principal really knows what's going on. That's why he's so kind of blasé, because he knows he knows so much, and it's confirmed right at the end of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they're kind of walking
I
off
thought
with
that
all
whole
Yeah.
that scene was so great with when they say, we got to tell the media, do you want the usual? And he says, yeah, gangs and PCP, because we can't say the truth. And so even if they don't know the details, clearly they know there's that Sunnydale isn't normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Makes you wonder why anyone lives there.
oh, and speaking of living there, when Spike going
the
right
house,
back to
the
the
house
beginning,
prices are probably low.
just, when Spike first walks out of the car, he says "Home Sweet Home." It's his first line,
Right.
and I'm going,
Why?
Does he know?
Do you guys know
that's,
why? Do you because we couldn't figure out why
He's
he
never
would
been
call
there
it.
before,
Or is he just kind of?
I'm guessing either because it's the Hellmouth, so I guess that's like a calling, or I guess he's trying to say like, now this is my home sweet home.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
like
Oh,
I don't. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird.
it's probably just the colorful part of his colorful personality.
Yeah.
He throws lines left, right, and center. Quote Shakespeare, like in Star Trek 6 or something.
Yeah.
It's like throwing lines out here and there. So he's probably just doing that for a bit of flavor more than any kind of historical note.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So he was called William the Bloody. Is that right?
Yeah. Because it's something to do with a train. What was it?
Yeah.
Railway spikes.
Railway
yeah,
spikes.
tortured
Is that where he gets his name from?
Yeah, he tortured his victims with railway spikes. Yeah, that's
That's actually not.
We have a new one.
That's great. Yeah.
That's actually not true. They clarify that later in his backstory where his name came from, and it came from. I'm not going to give anything away, but it was from before he was a vampire.
Right.
Okay.
I like that they could just be shifty with stuff like that because they're like, nah, what do the watchers know? They're just like making stuff up. They don't know things for sure.
Yeah.
Or I guess the vampire's like, yeah, where'd you get your name from? Yeah, I torture my victims with railway spikes. Oh, cool. Like you just kind of make up a story to go with your name.
Was this the biggest? I've got this note that I put the biggest exposure to the supernatural so far in the show in terms of the town and exposure to not the kind of muggles, so to speak, of the parents in that event, because there was quite a bunch of people that were attacked in the school. Right. So this is kind of a bit of an explosion. That's the whole thing with Spike. Yeah. He's like an explosion of kind of, like David said, a refreshed idea, a refreshed part of the show. And it just seemed that, wow, they kind of elevated everything now.
Yeah,
it seemed that way. Yeah,
that's a brilliant point.
I think so. They had in the climax of season 1, they had vampires running around in the streets, and you had Cordelia driving the car around, and there was stuff happening outside and in the school, but it was all at night, and they kind of imply there's not a lot of people around. So yeah, you might be completely right with that.
And with the peephole and the mother seeing only some things. And
I thought that was going to turn into the Shining scene. The vampire was going to stick his head through,
Yeah.
But it's not confirmed, even though you see that shot, the kind of Norman Bates shot of the stake. It's not confirmed if the mother saw Buffy doing that.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reaction shot, and I was kind of disappointed by that.
I don't think she can see, because if you look at the angle of the window, they watch her hand go and she comes really low down and she stakes him on the ground. So I don't think she can actually see. And when she comes out, obviously he's dust. So who's there?
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't think.
It kind of makes sense why it's only just the raising of the stake shot. So in the way it's shot, she might just see the stake and might not see her daughter.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was great. I mean, the fact that she comes out of that saying that, I have a daughter who can protect herself.
Oh, I love that scene.
And Joyce's whole speech, I mean, and gives her more strength as well. The fact that she'd defend Buffy against Spike when clearly there's this danger, and she still would go back and hit the drug crazed PCP laden hooligan with an axe.
Yeah, I love that. I love how Buffy and her mom were like not on the same page with school and all the superficial shit at the beginning. But at the end, they're like the love shines.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if this shifts because it's not like those aren't scenes you really remember from before. So I want to see if because before you see just Joyce rags on her constantly, like, be careful, I don't trust you, be careful. So I'm curious to see if there's a bit of a shift now of her trusting Buffy a bit more.
That's a really good
as
point.
things go on. Because at the beginning she's like, I don't want to be disappointed in you again, and then she goes to that to like, I'm really proud of you. So I want to see, like, I guess if that translates to a difference in their relationship going forward. It'd be interesting to see.
How long do you think that Spike and the other generic vampires would have been using those pikes to try and get Buffy in the kind of ceiling area because they were just spiking the ceiling?
Right.
I'm like, because it was like, right, you're gonna start doing that. It's gonna take you days to find a.
I loved how ineffective that was because it made it seem like such a great idea, and she sees it in front of her once and then has no problem navigating around to the rooms she wants to go to the rest of the time.
I didn't really get it. I feel really dumb for not getting this, but like this whole episode is Die Hard. It took me so long because I'm like, oh, school hard, die hard. So they had to have her in the vents, even if it made no sense, because you had to have the die hard crawling through the vents thing. But I feel really dumb that it took me that long to figure that out.
Well, I didn't get it till now.
I didn't figure it out on my own. I read the wiki and they're like, it's an homage to Die Hard, and I was like,
that's brilliant. Wow. This is
I didn't know that either, Smudge.
I feel like
okay. I feel better now. I feel better now that
this is how much smarter I feel.
I didn't figure it out on my own either. That's what I'm trying to say. The wiki informed me, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I spotted another poster. It was Designated Rider.
Oh, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if that's like if there's a drunk person, you can be the designated rider of a bike. It was kind of a bit of an odd one because it was someone on a motorcycle. That was the poster. And did you notice the apron that Buffy was wearing?
No.
And where the rose was on her apron when her and Spike were in the corridor together, it's like, yeah, we don't need these weapons. He drops the spike, whatever. She drops the red axe, the fire axe. She's got a rose that's right on her private parts, on her apron.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so from her waist down, just above the knees, is like a cream apron, and it's this kind of ornate rose, and the rose is exactly where you know what is.
That.
So I'm like, okay, that's absolutely on purpose,
Yeah, it must have been. I don't remember that, but that's awesome.
I don't remember that. I had some questions about this whole thing. Like, okay, first, Giles picks up the phone and says, the phones are out. Who was he gonna call?
That's a really good question.
Who was he gonna call? And then two, he's like, and then he goes, all of a sudden he's like, wait, there's a hidden cellar behind the stacks. Since when? I feel like is this why they keep getting snuck up on all the time?
That's really funny, Justin.
And I feel like this would have been useful in previous episodes, but it was never mentioned.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Every time they get cornered in the library.
Yeah, because you know what's funny? Subconsciously, when I heard the behind the stacks thing, I went, oh, I never knew that. But yeah,
it would explain why they just always seem to appear from behind, and they're like, "Oh, we're getting kidnapped again."
Yeah.
That's like some horror films where the monsters or the demons are inside the walls.
Yeah,
and they can navigate through the house through the walls.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. Did we actually see what he's talking about? That area?
No.
Did they go to that?
So
no,
they
didn't
just
show
come
it,
out.
did they? Yeah.
No,
they just wrote it in.
But my last two notes for this episode are: I love how the principal knows the truth about Sunnydale.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up. It's it kind of closed kind of plugged a hole for me. And I know we joked about the police are very ineffective, but it kind of makes that makes so much sense now. With they've written themselves out of a bit of a hole with that. So I think they've done well with that.
And even kind of inadvertently or deliberately set up season 3 a little with that kind of tidbit of what's to come, with like kind of a corrupt law enforcement. So that was interesting.
I thought that was clever. I don't know if they had thought of that, but it was a very good way to actually explain what we'd seen previously. So
absolutely,
What was your second one?
The Cockney accents. Yeah, and that line that Jess quoted, I thought Drusilla's almost become my favorite character in some way.
Me
because
too.
She's like gliding some sort of like celestial ghost or something through like this undead life, and like really doesn't give it. She's like, do you know the Anointed One's supposed to be the special character? Drusilla for me is the special kind of character now, because it's almost like Thanos. She's this kind of, for me, I know it's a small character, but the way she projects herself as though nothing else exists apart from her and Spike, and I absolutely loved it. I just lapped this episode up.
Oh, me too. I totally agree. And I wondered, I was asking Dave if he'd heard of her, the actress, I forgot her name, Julia
Landau.
Yeah, she was. I think she seemed a brilliant actress too.
Yeah, it's such a.
Oh no! Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Oh no! Oh no!
It's smooth.
Uh oh!
And sort of more angled, and it's actually super vicious.
Oh crap!
Oh, there we are.
Hey.
Oh shoot! What do you think that means for the? Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost. Like there was a good 2 minutes I lost.
Because we're still
shit.
server based. I think the recording will be fine.
Yeah, it says recording still. It never went away, so I think you're totally fine.
Okay, it's recording on my computer though, not on the cloud. Is that? Oh no, my internet is unstable. Okay. I don't know what to do. Am I going again? Am I still here?
Hacked. We're all getting hacked and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's just saying my internet. No, it's been because we're on Tech Savvy, which is based off, it like piggybacks off Rogers, and it's been like really iffy. Now I'm worried. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if your recording picked up what you were saying before or not.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's interesting enough. It has said recording for us the whole time. So
shoot.
We'll see what happens. Don't worry. Honestly, don't worry.
If it did keep recording, then it's like David talking and me going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no."
Yeah, that's what I said. That was the last word we heard.
We'll create some sort of transition. That's all.
Oh shoot! Yeah, hopefully.
Your face when because it just froze. It was the greatest concern look. It was like.
No.
It was really good.
We'll send you a screenshot. Yeah.
I was so worried that I was like, no, the recording's all gone. Like I didn't know if it would save it.
It doesn't. Honestly, the conversation matters more than anything else.
Yeah, don't worry.
Don't worry about that.
So no, I hope it didn't screw up what was already recorded.
That's okay.
I think it's probably.
I think it's okay. Don't worry.
Did you want to go back and repeat? Just in case.
It was just about Cockney accents and Drusilla.
Yeah, Drusilla's. Right. I just really liked her makeup. I thought it was different.
Yeah,
I like her dress. While we're on it,
that was great.
Look, I love that.
Yeah,
is that like almost a bridal dress? A simpler bridal dress almost. It's got to be that, right?
Yeah.
I think like a little doll. That's she looks like her dolls.
Yeah, she does.
Oh yeah, the dolls with the red. Yeah.
You mentioned how vicious she was, and there's a scene very briefly when she's going to feed on Sheila because Spike makes her do it, and they cut the scene when she's about to attack her, but she doesn't go for her neck, she goes for her face, and it's a very quick angle thing, and I'm going like, oh, I don't know if that was intentional, but it looks way more brutal than like any of the other vampires have done. Yeah,
that's a great shout actually, because the whole biting of the neck in anything, it's like right standard. But I watched Lost Boys a few days ago, and there's a scene where Jason Patrick sees the group. I'm not sure the group. I can't remember the group of evil vampires led by Kiefer Sutherland on the beach, and they attack this. I think the neo-Nazis or something on the beach at the. And they reveal themselves to Jason Patrick's character that they're vampires. And I was going to say Jack Bauer then. But Kiefer Sutherland bites the head on the skull there of one of the guys, and just blood splurts. So there's something, like you say, about biting of the face that's really brutal.
Yeah,
it is.
I must have missed that, but that's much darker. Just going straight at it like that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that she's so delicate, dainty, and so tender with Spike, and yet so brutal. Like, it's a great coffee and cream kind of personality.
I just remember
contrast.
Spike getting that parent in the hallway in the actual episode. The one parent, and he says, Spike says, I'm a venison guy. You're too old. And then he breaks his neck.
It's like, yeah, but I'll kill you anyway.
I love how the other vampire in that shot, the other vampire is shocked by Spike's. Like, why are you shocked?
What a waste, man. What a waste of food.
Wait a minute. What are you saying, Jessica? You know what people do? Oh, beep.
That's what I was assuming the vampire's thinking. He's like, dude, I could have eaten that. Come on. Gosh.
Yeah, there's definitely a funny quip about that wasting food there.
And one little point that I think, again, I'm stealing a lot from you. Stuff Dave says while we're watching, I go, well, that's my idea now. But at the beginning, I think it was this one where Spike had red on his face and Buffy did too.
Oh, yes.
Just a little makeup.
It's when Drusilla first comes up to Spike, and she, I don't know if she cuts him or she has blood on her hand. I don't know what they're implying, but she rubs it on his cheek, and he's got a line of blood on his cheek from her either cutting him, and then she licks it. And then later when Buffy is painting the banners, she has red paint on her face in the exact same place.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's symbolism or nothing.
And I'm going like that. If that was intentional, that's like really brilliant foreshadowing for way later on.
I noticed something similar to that, and I just dismissed it. I didn't even make a note about it. Was when Buffy's sitting, I'm sure it's this episode, Buffy's sitting on the bed talking to her mother, where they always have their scenes together, that she's got watering cans on her dress, Buffy, and the mother's got flowers.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, okay, what are they trying to say there? I just dismissed it. It was really interesting that, like that, the connection, there's something there, but I'd love to really know what even those little details mean,
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, you wonder how close they paid attention to the production for that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few things I had about this episode. Like, one, apparently, so this is the first episode we see Cordy helping them with Slayer's stuff without any excuses as to why she's there.
Yeah, I
was there helping them get ready.
That's where we see that really terrible snack board, isn't it? The college.
But she has no reason to be there, but she's just helping.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still making excuses, but she is there.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like she wandered in by accident or she needed something. She was just literally there helping out, which was kind of the first established thing. Like, oh, Cordy's actually part of the group now. We've established that she's there.
Buffy with a machete is great.
Yeah, chopping veggies. That did not look hygienic. I wouldn't.
Especially with all the dusty books around.
Yeah. This is why I doubt any sane school would let students prepare food for parents.
Yeah, well, I mean, with dead bodies around every corner, I don't think the clean standards of Sunnydale High are that high.
It's fair. The other thing I read about this episode, and I can't believe that this is true. It said in the wiki, this is the first episode we hear Joyce's name.
No.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says. This is the first time we hear Joyce Summers, and I'm like, no, that can't be real. Is that for sure? Like, they've never said her name's Joyce before?
That's weird.
I don't know.
It's still interesting.
That's what the wiki said, and I was like,
crazy.
Is that really? No, that can't
think-
be.
I think
But I
she
don't
got
know.
yeah, she must have got a pay rise on that day. You know how you go from like Uzi carrying guard number 1 to
Right.
some with a line of
Enjoy.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the 2 vampires that get dusted, the ones that were kind of in when Spike comes in, their names in the script are Lean Boy and Big Ugly.
Wow.
Oh wow,
Those are
that's
their-
amazing.
Those are their names, Lean Boy and Big Ugly.
I had it on name tags. It was really good.
I used
love
I
that.
used the phrase "tall drink of water" the other day, and Vicky thought I was in an episode of Deadwood or something. So, lean boy, that's great. I love it.
Do we have a body count
Yeah,
for this episode?
Yeah. Oh, just
Do
one last
that?
thing. I thought this was amazing because in the Buffy wiki, they also tell you what the names of the episodes were in different countries. And like,
Oh.
I love looking at them. So this one in Japan was called Die Hard School. I was like, all right. But my favorite in German, this episode was called Parent Teacher Conference with Obstacles.
I love it.
It's very specific.
It's very German.
I love it.
That's very German.
Great
Yeah.
name.
So German.
Yeah, so this was a huge death count episode. 9 deaths altogether.
Wow.
5
We don't have to do it now, but imagine saying that German title with the accent.
Yes.
I was actually gonna go further, but I won't
Takes
do
me-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking John Cleese, but anyway, I freaking love John Cleese. I still haven't mastered it.
I looked
Sorry.
at the name of the German episode and I was like, I'm not gonna even try. I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
But yeah, 9 deaths this episode. So 5 humans,
That's quite a
4
lot.
vampires. Big.
Wow.
Oh wow! Usually the numbers aren't reversed. They don't
Yeah.
usually have more humans than vampires.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. So
Wow.
big death count there.
Wow. Amazing.
And
So
did Sheila get away because she
Yeah.
ran from Buffy?
Yeah.
I don't remember if she's ever on the show again.
Nope. She never comes back.
Ah.
I looked.
really, she doesn't come back.
Yeah, I checked on the wiki. I was like, does she?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because normally they kind of wrap up the episode and they get rid of the that. But nope, she just they let her go and she never returns. So
Wow.
The one that got away.
Wow. I wonder if she became a good person.
And they-
That's amazing.
they said she's one of the last of like the Master's bloodline too. So she's like not a
That's messed up.
Oh.
yeah.
There's your reboot connection.
She's the Master in the future.
Yeah. That's awesome because she's a big actress now, right?
Oh,
Is
is
she
she?
in Once Upon a Time?
Now I have to look this up.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
need to check that.
Now I have to look.
She's
I'm
very
sure
good.
it's one of the main actresses. No, maybe I'm completely wrong about that.
I'm like looking up who it is. Okay, let's see. Her name, by the way, was Sheila Martini. That was her Sheila Martini.
That's
Her
hilarious.
trait, Alexandra Jones? It's Johnes.
Jones.
No, it's definitely not the same person I'm thinking of.
She was the empress, the child empress in the Neverending Story 2.
Oh, because they
Wow.
changed they switched the actress. Yeah. that's
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's apparently what she was known for.
Oh, I see.
right. All right.
Wow.